A very good morning, children. Are you enjoying learning so many new things about the earth? Have you understood what is rotation and what is revolution? Today we are going to do third part of chapter 5, motions of the earth, and we are going to learn about equinox and solstice. Before we begin learning about the lesson, we are going to look at these two pictures carefully and learn some things, because these things will be needed when we are learning the lesson. In the first picture, as I had told you before, we can see the earth divided into two equal hemispheres. Sphere means full, round like a ball. Hemisphere means half. So the equator divides our earth into two halves. Upper one is called Northern Hemisphere and the lower half is called Southern Hemisphere. In the second picture, we will see some important lines, and these are all imaginary lines which help us to locate places on the earth. The 5 lines are, we will start from the top and keep looking at the picture. The 5 lines are Arctic Circle, 66.5 degree north, Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north, it should be north, not S, N, equator 0 degree, Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degree south, and Antarctic Circle 66.5 degree south. Why we will have S and S for Antarctic Circle and Tropic of Capricorn? Because they are in Southern Hemisphere, and we will have N for Arctic Circle and Tropic of Cancer because they are in Northern Hemisphere. So understood? We will remember 5 important lines: Arctic Circle and Tropic of Cancer in Northern Hemisphere, Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle in Southern Hemisphere. The 5th one is equator, which is right in the middle, which is at the center, and it divides our earth into two equal hemispheres. Now we come to equinox. Before we begin, let us again examine the picture first. And this picture I have taken from the picture of revolution which we have learnt before. I have taken position 1 and position 3 because these are the two positions of the earth which we will learn about in equinox. So let us see what happens. On 21st March and 23rd September, the sun shines vertically overhead on the equator at midday. When it is 12 noon in position 1 and position 3, the sun shines directly over equator, and as a result, the day and night are of equal duration throughout the world. These 2 days are termed as equinoxes, meaning equal nights. And what happens on 21st March? 21st March or position 1, you can see there, up it is written there, 21st March spring equinox and 23rd September autumn equinox. So 23rd March is termed as spring or vernal equinox, and the Northern Hemisphere will have spring at this time while Southern Hemisphere will have autumn. And the opposite happens on 23rd September, which is called as autumn equinox, when Northern Hemisphere will have spring while Northern Hemisphere will have autumn while Southern Hemisphere experiences spring. And both on these days when the weather is spring or autumn, we will not be having very cold or very hot climate. It will be a very pleasant climate in both the hemispheres. Before we begin solstice, we are again going to look at these two important pictures. You have done this, first one when we were doing rotation and second one when we were doing revolution. Now mainly what I want to show here is the tilt of earth when it is rotating. In the first picture you can see it is not straight, earth is not straight, it is tilted on its axis, and as a result equator is also not straight, equator is also tilted, the whole earth is tilted, you can see. And when the sun's rays are falling in this position, You can see it is falling directly on Tropic of Cancer. Here in the picture of rotation, sun's rays are falling more on Tropic of Cancer. So this is position 2. You can see in the main diagram beside, in position 2 Earth is in the same position. When North Pole is tilted towards the Sun and South Pole is tilted away from the Sun, and maximum heat light is falling on Northern Hemisphere. So this is called position 2, and we will learn about this, what happens now. A solstice is the day when the midday sun shines vertically overhead at one of the tropics, that is Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and the duration of the day is the longest in that hemisphere. What does this mean? This means that 2 days in a year the sun will shine vertically overhead. One day it will shine on Tropic of Cancer, and on the second day it will shine on Tropic of Capricorn. And when it shines on Tropic of Cancer, the Northern Hemisphere will have the longest day, and when it shines on Tropic of Capricorn, Southern Hemisphere will have the longest day in that hemisphere. Okay, Southern Hemisphere will have the longest day. So these 2 days are the 2 solstices: summer solstice, which is position 1, and Northern Hemisphere will have longest day, and winter solstice, which is position 4, and Southern Hemisphere will have the longest day. Now you will understand this better because I have put the positions separately. This one is position 2. Let us see what happens in position 2. And this is on 21st of June, the Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degree north, receives the direct rays of the sun. You remember I had shown you when we were examining the picture of rotation, this is the same position. The Northern Hemisphere receives maximum warmth and sunlight and experiences summer season. Days are longer than nights during this period. Places in the Northern Hemisphere experience longest day and shortest night on 21st June, and this day is termed as summer solstice. I am sure you must have understood now. Okay, and something else also happens other than equal day and other than longest day and shortest night for Northern Hemisphere. Something else happens, and what is that? Now we are not talking about the full hemisphere, we are talking only about North Pole and the area which lies between Arctic Circle and North Pole. You can see in this picture, second position, from Arctic Circle to North Pole, the small area is totally yellow. It is totally yellow. It is not little bit of black and little yellow. It is fully yellow. What does that mean? It means that the North Pole is tilted towards the sun, and places beyond Arctic Circle experience daylight for 24 hours for 6 months. So for 6 months they have only yellow light, yellow, that is daytime they have. And conditions are reversed in the Southern Hemisphere, which is totally black. You can see the region between Antarctic Circle and South Pole, they have total darkness. There is no yellow there in that position. So this position, South Pole will have 6 months of twilight, of darkness, and 24 hours of darkness, full darkness for 6 months. Similarly, the opposite will happen in position 4. We will learn about this in the next slide, but we will talk about this again here also. You can see in position 4, North Pole has 6 months of twilight. You can see the area between Arctic Circle and North Pole is totally black. And similarly, the opposite, the area between Antarctic Circle and South Pole is totally yellow. So that small area will have 6 months of daylight, South Pole area, and North Pole area till Arctic Circle they have 6 months of twilight or darkness. Now this is position 4. And on 26th December, the Tropic of Capricorn, that is 23.5 degrees south, receives the direct rays of the sun. You can see the South Pole and Southern Hemisphere tilted towards sun. So Tropic of Capricorn has direct rays of sunlight falling on it on 22nd December. And this position is when Southern Hemisphere experiences summer with longer days and shorter nights. The South Pole is tilted towards the sun. Places beyond Antarctic Circle have continuous day for 24 hours on this day, while places beyond Arctic Circle in Northern Hemisphere have 24 hours darkness on this day. They don't have, their longest day is 24 hours, and in Northern Hemisphere the longest night is 24 hours. And the South Pole receives 6 months of daylight during this period, while North Pole has continuous darkness for 6 months. This date is termed as winter solstice, and the Northern Hemisphere experiences winter. So position 1 and 3 is the position when we have equinoxes, and position 2 and 4 are the positions when we have solstices. Understood? So to make things simple for you to understand and for you to remember these 4 important days, I have put this picture here. Let us begin from spring equinox. You can see up there spring equinox is 21st March, and during this time Northern Hemisphere has spring season and Southern Hemisphere has autumn season. We move to summer solstice. Summer solstice occurs on 21st June, and on this day we have the longest day in Northern Hemisphere and the longest night in Southern Hemisphere. Northern Hemisphere has summer, Southern Hemisphere has winter. Now we come to autumn equinox. This day falls on 23rd September. On this day Earth will shine directly over equator, and Northern Hemisphere will have autumn while Southern Hemisphere will have spring, and days and night are of equal duration. Now we move to the position 4, fourth position, when we have winter solstice on 21st December, and on this day Northern Hemisphere will have longest night and Southern Hemisphere will have longest day, and it is winter in Northern Hemisphere and summer in Southern Hemisphere. I know this is a bit difficult for you to understand straight away, but if you keep on listening to the video and if you keep on reading the lesson again and again, and if you try to understand the pictures as I have explained, you will be able to understand this lesson. So keep watching the video, keep looking at the pictures carefully and try to understand, and I am sure it is not that difficult. So with this we come to the end of today's tutorial, and we also come to the end of chapter 5. We will be doing the exercises in the next tutorial, and then we will begin a new lesson. Okay, till the time we meet again, keep safe, keep healthy and keep smiling, and you have to keep learning. Do your assignments very neatly in your social studies notebook. We are giving you assignments, do them very neatly in your copy, and then in the next assignment I will also give you some drawings that you will be doing very neatly. Okay, till then, till we meet again, have a safe day and keep enjoying.